Is Conor McGregor now considered a bacon? That's what I'm going to be talking about in this episode, because Conor McGregor has recently been found guilty in a civil court case. And a lot of my subscribers have been asking for my opinion on this matter. So I'm going to get into this. Before I do, please go down and hit that like button to get the algorithm boosted, and hit that subscribe button, because my aim is to get to 100,000 subscribers. I'm nearly at the 80,000 mark, so not far to go. Now, getting into this. The simple answer from me is no. Conor McGregor is not considered a bacon. And there is one simple answer for this. This video can be over and done with within 1 minute, but I'm going to delve into it and give you a bit more information. So, the reason why he is not considered a bacon is because there was no criminal charges. He has not now got on his record that he has been convicted of a criminal offence, and he is now a hairy apist. So, a lot of people who might be new to the channel with the name Conor McGregor in the title, who are following, I will give you a quick update. When I say bacon, it is slang term for nonce inside of prison. And nonce, as you all will be familiar with, is an S offender. So Conor McGregor is not considered a bacon because there was no criminal charges. This offence, or this alleged allegation, happened 6 years ago in 2018 in a hotel room against Nikita Hans and Conor McGregor. But when she has went to the police and lodged this allegation against Conor McGregor, obviously he was questioned over the matter, but there was not enough evidence to charge him and prosecute him. So the case went no further as far as criminal charges. Because like I've mentioned, if he was convicted on criminal charges, then he went to court and he was found guilty, then it would be a different story. He then would be considered a bacon. But because this was a civil case in a civil court, which bears no criminal charges, meaning that when the case is heard in a civil court, then this case is all to do with a settlement. At the end goal is obviously to claim damages, and then obviously the damages will be awarded if the defendant is found guilty. Well, Conor McGregor was found guilty on assault charges. It was assault charges, all to do with the injuries that she sustained in that hotel room. But Nikita Hans obviously did, when she was examined, had bruises all over her body. And this is what she has won the case against Conor McGregor for, obviously the bruising that she sustained whilst in that hotel room. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the case for the people that don't know the ins and outs. I have done some research into this, and I will do a quick recap of how the case went and the evidence that there was. So what a lot of people don't know about this case was Nikita had actually messaged Conor McGregor that morning. It wasn't that night, which a lot of people think it was. People think it was after a nightclub or whatever. They've went back to a hotel room together, but that wasn't the case. They were in separate households, separate parties. Conor was with his friend. Nikita was with her friend. They were messaging each other backwards and forwards. Conor then went to pick Nikita and her friend up with his friend at 7 a.m. in the morning, when they'd both been having separate drug-fueled parties. Conor and his friend picked Nikita and her friend up at 7 a.m. in the morning. The two lasses jumped in the back of the car. They were heading towards a hotel, and they were sniffing in the back of the car, having the times of their life. They'd been up all night. Conor and his pal had been up all night, so they were heading to a hotel. There was a lot of flirtatious texts backwards and forwards between the two couples, and obviously they decided to go back to a hotel room. But if you're going to a hotel at that time in the morning, you've been up all night partying, it's normally to do one thing and one thing only. If you are getting a hotel room with your pal and two lasses, and they are going to a hotel room willingly, being up all night partying, what do you think is going to happen? The footage from inside the hotel room showed they were very flirtatious, necking on with each other, kissing each other in the lift and on the way up to the hotel room, all over each other, Randy as dogs on the way to the hotel room. But this is where no one will know, apart from the two parties involved, what actually happened. Because as much as I'm saying they go into the hotel room, this is exactly what couples do, or people do when they've been up all night on the sniff. They go and get in touch with a girl, they go back to a hotel room, they go into that room for one reason only. But obviously, because I'm saying that just one reason only, they're going back to have a party, to have a session, and to get off with each other. This is the part, what I'm on about, where it gets a bit tricky, because just because they've been seen necking on with each other, all over each other in the lift, on the way to the hotel room, doesn't mean once they get in there, it is consensual. She might have had a change of mind at the last moment. Conor might have been so randy, he just didn't want to say no, and he continued to do it. But we do not know what happened. It's all speculation. It's only the two people involved knows exactly what happened. That's why when this has come about and the prosecution has had a look through the case, listened to both sides, they've decided there is not enough evidence to go forward with this case, especially when they've reviewed the CCTV footage and they've seen the way they were acting with each other on the way to the hotel room. So obviously, when they see that type of footage, they would say, well, it doesn't look like she's being forced there. So how could they convict a man on something that looks as though everything's consensual and the way that everything has happened? Well, this is what I'm meaning. When they got up to that room, who knows, she might have said, no, I don't want to do this. And then whatever has happened afterwards, but we don't know exactly. But what we do know with the case is that they definitely did have intercourse, because his semen was found inside of her when she was examined. But another part of the case, which some people might have found a bit mind-blowing, was the fact that inside of her, there was a tampon still inside of her, which was wedged after they'd had intercourse. But a lot of people would say, well, there you go, there's your telltale sign. He definitely did do the SA because the tampon was wedged up inside of her. But then, if she's been in such a state and they've been having consensual intercourse, she's been that drunk, she's forgot she actually had it in. That could be another reason why it was wedged so far up. And this is another reason why the case had no criminal charges whatsoever. But obviously when she was examined, she was covered in bruises from head to toe. And the doctor that examined her said some of the bruising was extremely unusual, even for an SA assault. So what Conor McGregor was actually saying was, when they were rolling around the room, she said he got her in a chokehold, and then he said she was that drunk, she swan dived headfirst into a bath which had no water in. Obviously, that's going to sustain some bruising around the body. Obviously, they were off their heads. Anyone who parties up all night till 7 in the morning, full of the sniff, full of drink, is going to be in a bonny old state. And a lot of times, you do not have any recollection of what has actually happened the night before. So this is where I'm talking about the case, where it is tricky. No one knows for certain what has actually happened in that hotel room. He's saying it didn't happen. She's saying it did. Us out here are only saying what's been in the news or in the headlines or in whatever articles you can find online from the court proceedings and obviously from the prosecution. And as usual, everybody is making up their own minds off the headlines that they've seen, because there was massive headlines all over. Conor McGregor has been convicted of ape. He was not convicted of that. He was found guilty on assault in a civil court case. There was no criminal charges, like I said at the beginning of the video. So if you look on Conor McGregor's criminal record, there is nothing to do with this case. There's no criminal charges, no criminal record whatsoever. So Conor McGregor is not considered a bacon, even though the whole world has got him down as one, because the newspaper articles all over, the headlines were convicted of that charge, when in fact he wasn't convicted of that in a criminal court. So there was no criminal charges whatsoever. So when a few of my subscribers have said, can you look into this case and give us or tell us, a lot of them were actually asking in the comments, is Conor McGregor now considered a bacon? Obviously, I didn't answer that straight away. I had to look into the case. I couldn't just come on here and make a video of my own assumptions of what I've seen online, on newspaper articles, may that be. Obviously, you've got to look into the case properly, watch a few different podcasts of people who are telling the truth, and look into the prosecution case to see exactly what evidence there was and what there wasn't. So I'm only going off what he has actually not been convicted of and what he has been found guilty of in a civil court case. In a civil court case as well, the burden of proof is less, so it's much more easily to get found guilty on a civil court case rather than a criminal case. But the subscribers asked for my opinion. That is my honest opinion. I'm not siding with either party. I'm not siding with Conor, saying he didn't. I'm not siding with Nikita, saying he did. We out here in the general public haven't got a clue. The only two people that know is them two. We will never know. It's always speculation, but the speculation is against Conor McGregor because a lot of people haven't got a clue about court cases. They think he's been convicted of SA. I'll not say that word. Everyone thinks he's been convicted of that. That will now be on his profile, but it is not. When you look into it and you know the law, then obviously you see things in a different light. Everyone is against him, thinking that he is now considered a bacon. Obviously, Conor McGregor has come on and said that he is going to appeal this conviction or this outcome, but with having the best defense team or getting the best lawyers and everything involved, the chances are him winning in this appeal are extremely high, because I'd imagine when it goes to the appeal courts, it's a whole different type of category of jurisdiction, as in judges, etc. Because obviously when it goes to the appeal courts, I'd imagine it's high court judges who will look at the case in a different light to what the judges, or not the judges rather, what the jury did in the civil case. So we'll see the outcome of what happens on the appeal, but I will keep you updated on that. But again, I will reiterate, because there will be people saying that I'm defending Conor McGregor, and then obviously people will be saying that I'm defending her. I ain't defending either party. What I'm saying is what I know. I'm not saying he did. I'm not saying he didn't. That's not for me. I'm not the jury and I'm not the judge. It might have been consensual, or she might have said no at the last minute, which it doesn't matter at what point this happens. When the other party says no, no means no. So there you have it, people. As other viewers also said, what will happen to Conor McGregor inside of prison? If Conor McGregor had ended up in prison for that charge, if it was in a criminal court case and he was convicted on it and he went to prison, what would happen to him inside of prison? Would he go on the VP wings? Well, to be honest with you, if it was the same sort of story and he went into prison and he told the lads straight away, listen lads, this is what happened, this is how it went down, I've been totally stitched up, because I have known people inside of jail who can handle themselves, come into prison, and they've tell the story, tell their side of it. Obviously, this is whilst they've been on remand. They've went up to court and they've been found not guilty. But there is, as you can imagine, there's a lot of people do get stitched up on these type of charges. There is a lot of people that get stitched up on these type of charges. So when they come into prison, they give the depths, they give their side of the story, and it depends on the case. If it's a blatant, something's happened out in the street or whatever like that, where there's no denying it's been a full-on SA. But cases like this, when they've went back to hotel rooms, become quite complex when they went together voluntarily, but then all of a sudden, these have come to light, which it has in this case with Conor McGregor. Then, when they go to prison, normally it's obviously if they're on remand, and they come at a normal location, hold their heads high and tell the truth to the other lads, and the lads believe them, then obviously they're going to get on fine. But if it's someone that's come in and it's a blatant, hairy ape, then obviously they're bang in trouble if they're not on protection wings. They will be served up and seen to immediately by the other lads. But obviously someone like Conor McGregor, who can handle himself, That would be a very tricky one to answer, because obviously if he went into prison for that charge, would he go onto the VP wings, which is the Vulnerable Prisoner Protection Wing? I highly doubt he would go onto that type of wing because of who he is and because obviously he can handle himself. But on the other end of it, if he's in there and it is a blatant SA and there's no denying that he's done something nasty, something bad like that, and it hasn't obviously been consensual and everybody knows it's not, and they know for a fact that he is a bacon, then it doesn't matter how big or how hard you are going to get it inside of prison. Someone will serve you up at some point. Just because you're big or you can have a fight, if you're a bacon inside a prison, you will get served up at some point in your sentence. But I brought you quite a bit of information on this video, people. Hopefully you are enjoying it. Let me know down in the comments your thoughts on this video and your thoughts on Conor McGregor. But as usual, if you are enjoying the content, remember to comment, like and subscribe. Take care everyone and enjoy the rest of your day.